Hi, I am Nimit Brahmbhatt and you are listening to my Not So Profound Thoughts. So today I'll be talking about budget, its impact on the industry, and from the speech that has been provided to me regarding the budget. So first let me start about agricultural sector. So government announced that it will be promoting chemical free farming. So chemical free farming, on my understanding, will definitely promote new age startups or agri-tech startups who are helping the farmers currently on the agricultural land as well as non-arable land also. So as in non-arable land, startups who are into hydroponics, aquaponics and other businesses would be helping this into chemical free environment and fertilizer free environment. They will be providing natural fertilizers to the farmers itself. The second is MSP payment mentioned by the government, wherein the government will be providing MSP payments directly to the farmer's bank account. I suppose this will help the farmers to increase the standard of living. Why? Because if we see that earlier the farmers were able to give only to the APMC markets. Now, as the government has opened its markets, for example, we say that PepsiCo, they are going to farmers, they are telling that you produce potatoes for me, I'll give you such rate. Whatever the produce is, I'll take totally upon me and I'll give you certain amount of rate that is beyond the minimum price. Now, coming to the automobile segment, the government has now been promoting EV segment as well as it is going to adopt EV into its public transport. So these two things are going to complement each other as well as reduce our carbon emission target, or the carbon emission target that we have set will be much closer to what the other countries are focusing as of now. This would also provide a boost for companies to set up EV infrastructure in India, because the government wants to shift in EV. So the public or the private sector's investment, both investments are going to be in the infrastructure development, as in having battery swapping stations, having power stations, having charging stations, and even the government mentioned that it is going to set up special mobility zones with zero fossil fuel policy. Batteries were mentioned specially. If we consider automobile infrastructure, even private sector, the government is also having a battery swapping policy. So now let us assume that the Ola electric and other two-wheelers are coming, or even the rickshaws are coming. So the battery swapping policy will be a major boost to the companies who are providing battery swapping stations, which are currently very less and particularly in few cities only. So this will go on and give a boost to the battery swapping stations, such as Sun Mobility is providing such solution in Delhi itself, but soon we might see that it is going into other states or else it is going pan India. But if we look at the defense sector, the government has allowed 68% budget to domestic procurement, and the defense R&D has been open to the industry, startups and academia with 25% defense budget. We have been seeing nowadays that the startups are developing new technologies much faster than the traditional businesses. Startups are coming with drone technology, startups are coming with other technologies that is helping our police department as well as the defense department. Other thing that is what I can see that is the similar fashion in which US works. So what happens in US is the government has been giving defense or R&D or any other products also to the universities and institutes. So here also the government is including academia and the institutes. So what we can see that sooner or later even the institutes will be providing services to the government for defense mechanism or for other. If we see the latest example, not particularly in defense industry, but in the COVID-19 scenario, you know AstraZeneca vaccine that was produced by Jennifer Doudna of Oxford University. She was not a student but a research professor, and her team produced that vaccine way much faster, and it is very effective also. As of now, we are facing too much difficulty in education because COVID disrupted a total industry that was going on of the education. Most of the people are coming online, and new education policy is being implemented, so it is creating a chaotic situation as of now. During the lockdown scenario, government started 12 channels for education of the students, and now it is moving to 200 channels, and it wants to move to 200 channels under the PM's e-Vidya program for creation of 750 virtual mathematics and science labs. So I think that even if we talk about my startup, we are going online and teaching online education. There are several startups, Byju's, An Academy, and other startups who are going to provide online services. But what will happen is these are going to raise the industry standard. What we see is that there are few universities who provide the best quality of education, and the rest are producing batches of MBAs and engineers wherein they do not earn that much, or they do not even earn for the fees they have paid. Finally, the government has taken step for telemedicines, which was very necessary, and even the national telemental health program, which will be launched by as many students, even people of elder age are facing depression, as we have seen in COVID-19 scenario that people were not ready to stay alone or isolated, and if they stayed isolated, many of them were into depression after that. So to provide solution for that, the government has launched National Telemental Health Program. Now, if we talk about telemedicines, so there are few startups like say Apollo Pharmacy, M-Fine, who are providing doctors on video conference or video call or even a telephone call. So there are similar hospitals which are in South particularly. There are few hospitals who are providing this telemedicine services to different regions or different areas or even different countries such as Africa also. So now this being a major boost, as well as smartphone adoption getting altogether a very high, will give a boost to the particular industry of telemedicine. As well as the government has now recognized that there is certain problem of mental health, and this national tele mental health program is going to provide, or I think may provide, awareness to the parents who are not believing that there is certain mental health problem in their child or in the students, or even there is such a thing such as depression or something else. Now I have my opinion about this particular budget. I believe that not mentioning about the middle class itself is beneficial to them. So what I have come across in this budget is that PM Awas Yojana is going to provide shelter to 80 lakh people with their own expenditure to lower and middle income people. So few of my friends also live there, and by looking at the construct, we can see that there is no compromise in the infrastructure development and the quality of the material that they have used and the build that they have made. Also, I believe that not reducing or not changing tax slabs. So why I can say that that I am okay with not changing of any tax slab, because there are only, if we look at the organized sector or in overall economy, we can say that 80% people are lower middle class or middle class people, wherein in organized sector there are around 4 crore people who are paying taxes in the, or are being salaried in organized sector. So now even in that, majority of the people are earning below 5 lakh rupees. So having any tax incentive as well as any budget for reducing the tax slab or improving the tax slab does not make any sense, because even in the unorganized sector, majority of the people are earning below 5 lakh rupees. So it doesn't make sense. So while I heard people complaining about the price inflation, the government cannot do anything, particularly in this budget itself. The people were complaining about there is a general increase in price rise of product. If you buy vegetables, if you purchase home, if you purchase anything, it is inflation that is pertaining to that, and not because of the budget. It is the monetary policy, or it is the duty of the central bank to focus on inflation rather than the government itself in the budget. So that's all for today. Thank you for listening.